Good evening, you lovely lot. It's Nick from Claret and Booze. I hope you're all well. First and foremost, welcome to all of the new subscribers. It's been a really, really brilliant month for us in a crap month to be reporting on West Ham. We've got almost 500 new subscribers, which is massive for us. Really, really good. So thank you very much for jumping on board. Thanks for sticking with us as well. And for the first time in, well, I think ever, on our last 5 videos that I've done, got over 1,000 likes. Views are really good. You're sticking with it, and I really do appreciate it. And you know something? I know we say drop a like on a video, it helps the algorithm. I'll be lying if I said, look, it is nice that you guys do that, and I do really appreciate it. So you're obviously enjoying what we do, and yeah, thank you very much. It makes it all worthwhile. But that said, we've got a lot of new subscribers, right? But of all the people that have watched this channel in the last 28 days, only 63.6% are subscribed. The rest of you are not. Why ain't you? Why? Jump over. Help us out. Come on. I also want to apologise for the clickbait video that I put out yesterday. Although, look, it was a good video. It was. And I did it to take the piss. And I did it to force everyone to show some appreciation for Edson Alvarez, a player that I absolutely adore. I think he's been mismanaged, and I think a lot of people have forgotten what a good player he is and how lucky we are. And the majority of people did kind of get that. There was a couple of shitty comments, but I don't really care. I didn't monetize it. I willingly demonetized it by using Freddie Mercury, so no ads, no ad revenue. So I didn't make any money out of it. It weren't clickbait for money. It was clickbait for jokes. Not something I'd do. So I quite enjoyed it. Being mischievous, it was good. Hope you enjoyed it anyway. So I'm not gonna go into too much detail on this, but I've seen all of the news breaking today about Naif Aguirre and Mohamed Kudus, about the fact they're kicking off in training, and you know, well, we were told that for instance, Aguirre, he was going to refuse to come back to training. That was a message that was being put out by the board. Well, he came back. He came back to training. Yeah. So that was obviously rubbish, wasn't it? And we're getting the stories being pumped out now on loop to say that they're trying to poison the fan base against Kudus. Look, Kudus is obviously going to be sold. The board made their minds up long before this window even opened, and they've been farming him out. Like I've already said, trying to send him to the desert. He won't go. He's ignoring the tax-free money. We've been trying to generate a bidding war. Tottenham were the only club that was interested enough to bid a decent amount of money for him. And we were hoping that other clubs were going to come in. I do still think there are other clubs that are holding an interest, but Tottenham are in a driving seat at the moment. And very stupidly by the club, what they've done is they've tried to pull the same trick that they always do. And I'm going to go on to clarify this in a bit. And everyone does buy it. So when West Ham are selling a player, the fans don't mind hating the player. So it's very easy for them to turn that player into a mercenary every single time. And what that does is that takes the pressure off of the club. Bad player, horrible player. We had to sell him. We had no choice. I can tell you now, and I've had it clarified. You know yourself, the contacts that I've got. The player has not said that he will only go to Tottenham. He said nothing. Basically, the club went to Kudus and said, "We've had an offer for Spurs. Will you talk to the club?" He did. Spoken to him, and he will go. But he's never once said that that's going to be the only club that he wants to go to. He knows that the club wants to sell him, and he's gone, yeah, that's fine, I'll go there. What he's upset about is, apparently his words is that he thinks he feels like he's been a little bit character assassinated. He said he would never, regardless how unhappy he was, which he said I'm not. He said I would never ever disrespect a club that I play for. He's not happy with what the club have done. And they absolutely are. People are saying David Ornstein said it. Fabrizio Romano said it. Well, where are they getting it from? Is it a quote from the player? No, it ain't. It's coming from our club. They do it every time. Aguirre's obviously on his way out the door. And how people can't put 2 and 2 together, because apparently Sunderland he would consider going to, and they're interested in that player. That's all very well, you sort of taking the piss and going to Sunderland. He won't like it up there, the North East. Why are you not thinking, hang on a minute? Why would he rather go to Sunderland, a newly promoted team in the North East, than stay here? What is wrong with this club? That's what I'm thinking. You know, what has happened? What has he seen? Someone touched him? I don't know what's going on. But yeah, so it's all crap. What I'm trying to say is, and it's going to fall on deaf ears, because like I said, fans grab this so quickly because they want to hate a player that leaves, especially a player that's going to go to Tottenham. Now look, once that player goes, if Kudus goes to Tottenham, he's gone. He's a spud. But I won't hate him for leaving because of the circumstances that he's leaving under. West Ham need money. We're desperate for money. He's our most saleable asset and the only one that anyone will pay any sort of serious money for. So we've been flogging him out, whoring him out, effectively, for someone to buy him. And now we're trying to pin him as the bad person in all of this. Why can't Sullivan just grow a pair of bollocks and own the situation? Come out and say, we're selling the player. We need the money. We're going to reinvest it. Done. Why has he got to be a coward? You know? And they do it every time. And the thing is, people are so fickle because they're actually ignoring now. All they're looking at is that quote from Ornstein and Romano, and they're ignoring all of the messaging that's been put out from the club for the last 2 months of the club saying, we have to sell. We have to sell. Even naming Kudus, saying, sadly, it's not true. We haven't had a bid for him yet. That was the same with Aguirre. So I don't, like I said to you, I think some fans just want to believe it. I know there's a lot of fans, as I said, especially with Kudus, that seem to have a bit of a problem with him anyway. You know, they want to hate him. That's absolutely fine. Whatever. You know, like I said, I sadly, for me, I do think he is going to go. I do. Him, anyway. As for the rest, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I don't know how long it will drag on for. I don't know what we'll end up selling him for because, like I said, Tottenham, I don't think... Well, they're in the driving seat. We've actually put Tottenham more in the driving seat by leaking these stories because they've kind of made it untenable. I mean, if Kudus wasn't unhappy before, he certainly is now because, like I said, he feels like he's being a little bit character assassinated. He hasn't done anything. The club want to sell him. He's gone, yeah, all right. I'm not going to fucking Saudi, but fine, I'll go Tottenham. You know? If I've got to go Tottenham, I'll go Tottenham. It's fine. It's got nothing to do with they're the dream team. That if Chelsea came in, it'd be interested there. If Liverpool came in, it'd be interested in them. Right, it's also been clarified that the Suzuki deal isn't going to be happening. He's staying in Italy. That is, I'm not saying that was a nonsense link. Apparently, it was someone that we like, but we like lots of players. We've got to try and get it done. The Diouf deal, is that going to get done, or are we just going to sit there and long this one out to the point where somebody else jumps in? Apparently, there's a lot of clubs, up to 9 clubs, interested in this player. We're about 2 to 3 million away from what Prague are insisting that we pay them for this player. They're standing firm. They're going, no. They want a figure that's going to make it the record signing in that country. So they're not going to budge. That's what they want. But Sullivan's going, nah, I think you're asking too much for him. We're pissing around over a couple of million. Now, when you consider if that's 3 million, we pay these deals over 5 or 6 years anyway. Sullivan's just got to feel every single time like he's getting a bit of a bargain. So I don't know with this one. I don't know whether this one will actually happen or not. I think we're probably going to fuck this one up. And it was, by the sounds of it, it was done, more or less. Also, Emerson, apparently, I know I'm bouncing backwards and forwards here, but the reported players that didn't come back to training was Aguirre, Emerson, and Kudus. Emerson was at training. He was having a right laugh. If you watch the training video, he was there. You know, nothing of Aguirre. He was there as well, but there was nothing of him in the video clips. I mean, how childish is that? Talk about make someone feel loved. Kudus, there was just one of him, very, very short clip of him laying there getting his medical checks and that. But no, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to tell you a little secret, people, right? With all the stuff that's going on and everything else, I did get a little bit excited when I see him all return back to training. And you see... It's mainly because a lot of the players that I love, they're still there. Look, I love them all. They're West Ham players, but the ones that I really, really really love. Like the flair players, the exciting players, the better players. They're still there. They're still there, and I'm kind of looking forward to the prospect of the bulk of them still being there, because I know there's 50 days left in this window, but time is running out. We're into pre-season now. We're playing Grasshoppers at the weekend or next weekend. And then beyond that, we've got the US tour. And then before you know it, we're going to be into the season. So, yeah, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that... Look, I don't want us to sell Kudus. That would be the best thing for me. If you ask me now, it's going to be a very unpopular thing for a lot of you. I'm sure it is. But when you look at that squad now, with Earthy, with Potts, with Alford, with Casey... when you look at that now and you look at the list of players, it's not really a thin squad anymore. Not really. I'm looking at it, I'm thinking that's all right. There's a lot of players there. Maybe still a few gaps. I'd like to get a striker in. I'd like us to get a striker in. But for me, rather than selling 7 of our best players, as I'll keep on banging on about, and bringing in a load of unknowns, the best thing for me that would motivate me a little bit would be if that did not happen. You know, I know it'd be a catastrophe for a lot of people because, you know they want this. And the thing is, look, for Potter, it's going to be sink or swim for him then. And you know what? I'd be excited for him because he's got more chance of succeeding with those superstars there. He might not think it because he wants his own players and he doesn't like being questioned on tactics and stuff like that, which we know has happened, certainly towards the tail end of the season. That's why there was quite a lot of fallouts. But he's got to learn to work with big players if he wants to be in the big boy league and he wants to progress. We're not going to be happy as a club. We're happy with the ideology of having all of these young players, right? And being, you know, what Brighton were 5 years ago, possibly, if the recruitment is anywhere near as good. But the reality, if it doesn't work and it just turns to shit and we're struggling and there's no flair and there's nothing like that, that'll wear thin really, really quickly. We're not Brighton. West Ham fans are not Brighton fans. We're just not. We don't have the patience. I know 1 or 2 of us appear to now with Potter. You know, I mean, I really don't understand the thing with Potter at the minute. I'll get it. He's here now, and I will. Like I said to you, I'm starting to get I don't expect anything from next season, but I did get a little bit of a buzz watching that, seeing the players come back from their holidays. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the football coming back in whatever form it's going to be. I'm probably going to be, you know, have a face like a smacked arse for the first 5-6 games or something like that, because I don't expect us to do well, but I'm still excited to see what happens. Does that make sense? But yeah, what I do find really strange with this Potter thing, the people that are kind of backing him with no body of proof, I think if you're the type of person that backed Moyes, you backed Lopetegui all the way, and now you're backing Potter, absolutely fine. That's you. You know, that's what you do. You're definitively patient. You know, you don't hound the manager out. But if, like me, you was pissed off with Moyes and you wanted him out, and then you was pissed off with Potter, pissed off with Lopetegui because it was crap. Well, I'm pissed off with Potter because it's crap. It has been crap. He wants to get rid of a load of my favourite players rather than make the best use of them. But there are fans that were Moyes and Loppy. Shit, get them out. Now all of a sudden they've completely realigned their expectations and they've found feng shui. You know, we'll make do with anything under Potter. Shit football, 16th place finishes. This is the type of thing I'm hearing bandied about. And it's hypocritical because they weren't that patient under other managers. So if you've got no standards, why do you have standards under this man? Why? Doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm hoping that it goes well. I just don't think it will. I don't think it will. More chance of it going well if these players that everyone wants to sell stick around. If we play that team that I've been banging on about, that magic triangle in the middle, if Kudus is still here. Well, look, if Kudus is gone, then we can have Alvarez, because it probably would be more balanced then. The midfield would be solid then. If we could have Alvarez in the CDM and you could have Paqueta in the 8 being creative, then you could get a real box-to-box player, like a machine, whether it's Onyekuru Corey or like a Fafana type player. Maybe that would be a real solid midfield. I'd rather it be Kudus, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. The longer it goes, the happier I'm getting. All right? Anyway, look, thank you once again, and I'm going to leave you with a little treat. All right? From Baby Nick. Speak to you soon. Come on your irons. And we've seen Potter under pressure. Is that a man that you want under pressure? Not for me. But I ain't going to fucking stop. I'm going to keep up the fight. bsout.co.uk. Sign the fucking thing. Let's stand together and get these people out of there.